Undertale, the extremely popular and well-known indie RPG game that released in 2015. Created by Toby Fox, Temmie Ching, and others, it went on to become a cult classic in the video game franchise shortly after its release. One of its characters starring in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a costume, its music being widely recognized and used on the internet in the form of memes, YouTube videos, and more, and its most important feature, the game's fandom. The Undertale and Deltarune fandom is filled with so many up-and-coming and downright jaw-dropping fan works, such as Undertale Yellow, a prequel to the main game Undertale, Team Switch Underswap, and Delta Traveler, alongside several other amazing fan works. It's clear to everyone that the Undertale fandom isn't going to die anytime soon. But with every good side to a fandom, there's a bad side. And, surprise, Undertale isn't any different. The Undertale fandom is known for things like pro-shipping, physical harm, and a lot more that I'll get into this video. But rather than getting into all of these topics individually with receipts, screenshots, and evidence, I'll just be summarizing a few of them that I know of. So think of it more of a commentary video rather than an expose. Also, I forgot to mention, hi, my name's Sage or Noir, and this is my first YouTube video. I probably won't be posting rants or commentaries like this often since this is a hobby and I'm not doing this as like a career or anything, but we'll see where it goes. And without further ado, let's talk about Before we get into this first chapter, there are a few keywords that you need to know as a viewer. The first of which being AUs, or alternate universes, and pro-shipping. Pro-shipping, prior to recent years, was defined as being for shipping. For example, if someone liked seeing Sans and Toriel together, that would have made them a pro-shipper. Someone who was against shipping would have been an anti-shipper. But these terms have changed over time, so the definition I'll be going with, and the one I'm sure a lot of you are more familiar with, is the no-rules term. This meant that people can ship siblings together, relatives, animals and their owner, just anything and everything you can imagine. Another term you should be familiar with is the word AU, or alternate universe. An AU is just what it sounds like. It's a universe in which things are different from Undertale. For example, if people swap personalities, or if Asriel successfully killed Frisk and reset the timeline during his fight with them, that would count as an AU. But back to the topic at hand. Remember when I briefly brought up the term anti-shippers earlier in the video? Anti-shippers are, again, people that don't like ships, and they're very vocal about their opinions, outwardly so. And this resulted in an incident which I'm not even sure a lot of people know about, where a Franz shipper was offered cookies at a convention, but then the cookies had needles in them. Like, oh my god, what the hell? But Franz isn't even like the worst of it, like not at all, not by like a long shot. Like it's bad, but it gets worse. Font cess is disgusting, and I'm sure if you've been around the fandom for a while, you probably know what it means, but if you don't, let me explain it for you. Yay. Font cess is a term that refers to shipping Sans and Papyrus with each other. Like the Skeleton Brothers, Sans and Papyrus, making out and shit. It was, scary. I remember this one comic, I don't remember the specifics, but it was like a Font cess comic on YouTube where Papyrus was a little kid at an orphanage, and he was about to get kicked out. I think it was like because of the orphanage being at maximum capacity for whatever reason. But then Sans jumps in and he's like, oh, I'm his brother. And the two of them are kind of like officially, unofficially related now. And then Papyrus just kind of like starts falling for Sans. And it was just really odd. And for some reason, Undertale wasn't even the main focus of like font cess at all. It was like Underfell, Underswap. It was crazy. Weirdos. The fans didn't even stop at shipping Sans with Papyrus, or even Sans with other characters too. They would make different types of Sanses, like alternate universe versions of Sans, just Sans, and ship them together and make fan kits of them. And okay, while that's not bad at all, a little bit odd, but not bad, because we've done a lot worse. The My Little Pony fandom's kind of done the exact same thing we did. It's still a bit weird, especially when I mention things like PJ's Daycare and Paper Jam X Fresh Sans, because that was an entire thing. But needless to say, the fandom's gotten better as a whole when it comes to shipping. People have been called out for being pro-shippers before, and I hope they continue to do so, because personally, as a grooming victim, if you didn't know, I personally wouldn't want to see my favorite character be put in a situation that I was put into that's traumatizing. I just don't get it. But I mean, as long as these people are dealt with in a safe and mature manner, then I see no issue in calling people out. Just as long as we don't have another needle cookie situation happen again. Okay, this next segment might be a little bit longer, just because this is the main part of the video where I personally need to air out some of my grievances with the fandom's behavior on Twitter. I'm a Twitter artist, and my experience so far has been overwhelmingly positive, but from the conversations I've had with my mutuals on Twitter, who have a much larger following than I, it's apparently not good at all. Sometime this year, or late last year, someone on Twitter hosted an Undertale/Deltarune OC Twitter poll competition to help boost awareness for some of the lesser-known Undertale OCs, like Casey from Ultraden, the Janitor, Marlette, and several others, including my OC, Casey from Undertale Braveheart. These polls were completely randomized, and they were huge. Like, the characters' brackets had characters I had never even heard of before the polls. I remember first hearing about it, and I would check the polls results every day to see if I had advanced. It was really amazing to see everyone in the community banding together. But, as always, some people didn't take too kindly to their OCs not being submitted into the competition, or being pinned against more popular characters, which is something I wholeheartedly understand. But when people think harassing the creator and overwhelming them constantly was any way to reach a conclusion, then that was just embarrassing. People in the Undertale and Deltarune community always tend to go after people for messing up and running them off the internet. The creator ended up canceling the poll in its entirety, and when they started to reconsider doing the competition again, they got harassed for the second time. There's another incident like this where someone had made an edit with someone else's artwork but didn't credit that artist, because their friend, the editor's friend, got images for the edit, and the editor specifically requested not to have that artist's artwork in their edit. But rather than going and discussing this privately, the editor got put on blast and got ran off Twitter for a simple mistake that could have easily been resolved behind closed doors. There had been prior arguments between the two that I'm not sure what the specifics are, but it's been an entire thing. Another example of toxic Twitter behavior is the Undertale and Deltarune community making call-out documents. In some cases, call-out documents are filled with useful information about creators, like how recently the creator of Undertale Nihilism was outed for being a racist, or how Voltra, the creator of StoryShift, was revealed to reblog a bunch of questionable artwork on her old Tumblr account. But in most cases, these documents do a horrible job at actually backing up evidence with cold hard facts. Which brings me to the call-out doc made against Beath, the creator of Team Switch Underswap. And if memory serves, someone randomly made an account called Beathburn, released the call-out doc, and it doxed him, showed his real name, well, that was doxing, but revealed a bunch of personal information that he had never come outward and expressed himself. Which is, wow, that's crazy. And shortly after the doc was released, people started retweeting this left and right as if it was something to be aware of. And I get where people were coming from, and I get that their hearts may have been in the right place, but this resulted in people who weren't even related to Beath to get harassed, shunned, and ridiculed behind their back for something that didn't have anything to do with them. I do want to say that now most of these issues have gone away, but a ton of them are still apparent, even now. And I don't want it to sound like I hate the fandom. I genuinely love the amount of creativity that goes towards fan games. I'm even making a fan game of myself, which I mentioned earlier, that I'd love to share with the world one day. The Undertale and Deltarune community is filled to the brim with people that deeply care about the game and just want to make something special as thanks. Whether Undertale helped you out through a rough patch in life, or if it genuinely just changed your perspective on a random Friday night. I want to thank Toby Fox and everyone who's making stuff related to Undertale and Deltarune. Keep at it and don't give up. Hi, this is post-editing the video Sage here. I'm just realizing that the video is a little bit short, but I think that might be a good thing. I don't think I could handle editing like an hour-long video. Not that this should have been an hour long, but you know. But yeah, I mean, I've said everything I needed to say. This is a fun first video. I hope you guys liked it as much as I did, and I hope you guys are willing to stick around for future content I'm willing to upload. I guess that's it. Have a good day, night, evening, whatever.